The world isn't as innocent as we wish it to be. Not everyone moves with good intentions. Some people don't need a reason to hurt you. They do it simply because they can. They are wired that way. Their existence feeds off manipulation, deceit, and control. You don't have to cross them, offend them, or even matter to them. If they see an opportunity to exploit, they will take it. No hesitation, no remorse. But here's the real danger. Evil rarely comes with a warning label. It doesn't always wear a villainous smirk or a dark cloak like the movies show you. No, it's far more clever than that. It hides in plain sight, wrapped in the warmth of familiarity. It smiles at you. It asks about your day. It offers a hand when you're struggling, only to push you down when you least expect it. Evil is the friend who never celebrates your wins, but always has time to remind you of your failures. It's the coworker who plants doubt in your boss's mind while acting like your biggest supporter. It's the family member who twists reality so well that you start questioning your own sanity. And the worst part? You often don't realize what's happening until you've already given them your trust, your time, and a piece of your soul. But here's the thing about deception. It always leaves a trail. No matter how well someone hides their true colors, the cracks eventually show. You just need to know where to look. So today, we're exposing the truth. The 7 red flags that reveal toxic, manipulative individuals long before they sink their claws into your life. These aren't just minor personality flaws. These are signs of something much deeper, much darker. And if you ignore them, you risk becoming a pawn in their twisted game. You deserve peace. You deserve clarity. And most of all, you deserve to recognize who is truly on your side and who is just waiting for the right moment to betray you. So before we dive in, take a second, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and let's sharpen our awareness together. Because the more you know, the less power they have over you. Let's begin. 1. They twist reality until you doubt yourself. Have you ever felt like no matter what happens, you're always the one at fault? Like the facts don't matter, the truth doesn't matter, only their version of reality? You remember events clearly, but they insist you're mistaken. You express your feelings, and they tell you you're overreacting. You raise a concern, and suddenly, you're the problem. If this sounds familiar, then you've been caught in one of the oldest, most dangerous psychological traps. Gaslighting. Gaslighting isn't just lying. It's rewriting reality until you stop trusting your own mind. They don't need proof. They don't need logic. All they need is to plant a seed of doubt. And soon, they can twist your thoughts like a puppeteer controlling strings. At first, it's subtle. A smirk, a dismissive laugh, a casual, you always blow things out of proportion. But over time, those little remarks chip away at your confidence. You start second-guessing yourself. Maybe you are being dramatic. Maybe you did misremember. Maybe, just maybe, you're the problem. This is the power of manipulation. It's not about proving you wrong. It's about making you believe you can't be right. They'll erase parts of the past, twist your words, deny what was once undeniable, all to make you doubt yourself. Because once you stop trusting your own memory, your own emotions, your own instincts, you start relying on them to tell you what's real. And that's exactly what they want. Imagine you're standing in front of a mirror. At first, it reflects you back perfectly. Your thoughts, your feelings, your truth. But every time they twist reality, it's like a crack appears in that mirror. A small one at first, then another, and another. Until one day, the mirror is so shattered, so distorted, that you can't even see yourself clearly anymore. That's what gaslighting does. It doesn't just confuse you, it erases you. They'll never admit they're doing it. Instead, They'll flip the script. You're being too emotional. You take things too seriously. You're just remembering it wrong. And the moment you try to defend yourself, they'll make it worse. See? This is why no one can talk to you. They'll make you feel like a burden, like your emotions are too much to handle, and in time, you'll stop speaking up altogether. You'll shrink yourself just to keep the peace. But here's the truth. Real peace doesn't come from silence. It doesn't come from walking on eggshells, afraid that anything you say will be used against you. It comes from standing firm in your reality, no matter how much they try to twist it. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." And this is exactly why gaslighters fight so hard to take that power away from you. If they can control your perception, they can control you, but only if you let them. So ask yourself, are you really wrong, or are you being manipulated? Are your emotions really too much, or are they just inconvenient for someone who doesn't want to face the truth? Stoicism doesn't teach you to argue with people like this. It teaches you to see through them. You don't need to convince them of reality. You just need to recognize when someone is trying to steal yours. A good person will make you feel safe, heard, and valued. A toxic person will always make you question yourself. The moment you feel like you're losing grip on your own mind, step back. Trust your instincts. Hold on to your truth. And if necessary, walk away. Because the one thing they can never take from you is the reality you refuse to surrender. 2. They turn your pain into a weapon. Nothing cuts deeper than betrayal disguised as care. You open up, you trust, you reveal the parts of yourself you rarely show anyone, only to realize, too late, that they weren't listening to understand. They were listening to gather ammunition. Every fear you confessed, every insecurity you shared, every scar you revealed, they took it, stored it away, and waited. And when the time was right, they used it against you. This is one of the most insidious forms of manipulation. A good person protects your vulnerability. A toxic one exploits it. You might confide in them about a past heartbreak, thinking they'll offer support. But one day, during an argument, they throw it in your face. No wonder they left you. You never change. You might open up about childhood struggles, believing they'll understand. But when they need to put you down, they remind you, you're just damaged. It's who you are. At first, you think they don't mean it. Maybe it was said in the heat of the moment. Maybe they just lost their temper. But then it happens again and again. And you start realizing it's not a mistake, it's a strategy. They're not just hurting you, they're keeping you weak. The worst part? They'll act like they're helping you. They'll frame their cruelty as honesty, their insults as tough love. They want you to believe that your pain defines you, that your past limits you, that you're too broken to stand up for yourself. Because the moment you believe that, they win. But here's what they don't want you to know. Your pain doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. And no one has the right to use your past against you. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. So what do you do when someone turns your vulnerability into a weapon? You take that weapon away. You refuse to let them rewrite your story. You don't argue, you don't explain. You just recognize the game and step out of it. Because anyone who uses your struggles to break you was never worthy of your trust to begin with. Guard your peace. Some people don't deserve access to your deepest truths. 3. They twist the truth until you can't see it. Lies can be small, harmless, even well-intended. But in the hands of a manipulator, lies become something far more dangerous. a tool to control, confuse, and keep you in the dark. They don't lie because they have to. They lie because they want to. Not to avoid trouble, but to shift power in their favor. Not to make life easier, but to keep you off balance, always questioning, always unsure. At first, it's subtle. They tell you one thing today, then deny it tomorrow. You remember events clearly, but somehow they convince you otherwise. They twist facts just enough to make you doubt yourself, leaving you stranded in a fog of uncertainty. That never happened. You must have misunderstood. Why do you always assume the worst? This isn't forgetfulness. It's not a misunderstanding. It's warfare, a slow, calculated erosion of your confidence in your own mind. And the more they lie, the more you hesitate to trust yourself. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's why manipulators work so hard to make you doubt your mind. Because once they control your perception, they control you. The scariest part? They will never admit it. Honesty isn't a value to them. It's a weapon they use only when it suits them. And when the truth finally comes out, they'll act like you're the unreasonable one for noticing. So what do? You don't argue. You don't beg them to change. You simply see through them. Epicurus reminds us, "The wise man does not need to prove anything to a liar, for the truth will do that on its own." Trust your instincts. Protect your mind. Because the moment you let them rewrite reality, you lose yourself in their version of it. 4. They start fires just to watch them burn. Some people can't stand peace. While most seek stability, they crave conflict. It's not enough for them to witness chaos. They create it. Drama isn't just an accident in their world. It's a strategy, a tool for control. Imagine a warm, peaceful evening with friends or family. Laughter fills the room, stories are shared, and for a moment, everything feels light. Then, suddenly, a sly remark cuts through the air. It's subtle, just sharp enough to sting, just ambiguous enough to be denied if questioned. Within minutes, tension rises, voices clash, and the once relaxed mood is shattered. And as emotions flare, take a look at the one who started it all. They sit back, watching, satisfied, as if they just threw a match onto dry grass and now get to enjoy the flames. This is how they operate. They fuel misunderstandings, whisper half-truths, twist facts, always from the shadows, always playing the innocent bystander. Sometimes they even step in as the peacemaker, just to tighten their grip on the situation. They don't just want to create division, they want to watch you break. Why? Because chaos gives them power. When people are exhausted, emotional, and off balance, they become easier to control. And the more isolated you feel, the more they win. But here's what they don't expect. You don't have to play their game. Marcus Aurelius said, "When you wake up in the morning, remind yourself that you will meet people who are deceitful, selfish, and manipulative. But you do not have to become like them. They want a reaction. They need you to get angry, to defend yourself, to fall into their trap. But as Epictetus reminds us, whoever angers you owns you. So when you recognize someone who thrives on destruction, don't argue, don't explain, just step away. Their chaos is not your responsibility. Guard your peace, because it's the one thing they can never take unless you let them. 5. They wear the mask of a victim, but hold the strings of control. Some people aren't looking for solutions. They're looking for someone to blame. No matter what happens, they are never at fault. Life has been unfair to them. Their boss is out to get them. Their friends don't support them. Their family mistreats them. Every problem they face, every mistake they make, somehow becomes someone else's responsibility. And if you're not careful, that someone will be you. At first, you sympathize. You listen. You offer advice. You try to help. But over time, a pattern emerges. Nothing ever changes. They don't want solutions. They want attention. They want you to feel guilty when you step away. They want you to believe that if you don't keep helping, you're cruel, selfish, heartless. This isn't just self-pity, it's a form of manipulation. By constantly playing the victim, they drain you emotionally while avoiding any responsibility for their own actions. And the moment you suggest they take accountability, they flip the script. Suddenly, you become the villain. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The truth is, you are not responsible for fixing someone who refuses to help themselves. Stoicism teaches us that true growth comes from within, not from forcing others to carry our burdens. So ask yourself, are you actually helping them, or are you just being used? Compassion is a virtue, but it should never be a trap. A person who truly wants change will work toward it, not manipulate others into doing the work for them. Set your boundaries. Walk away if you must. Because some people don't want healing. They just want to keep you trapped in their storm. 6. They break you down, but never lift you up. No matter what you do, it's never enough for them. If you succeed, they dismiss it. If you struggle, they amplify it. If you work hard, they find flaws. If you accomplish something, they overshadow it. This isn't just negativity, it's control. They don't want to see you confident, proud, or secure in yourself. They want to keep you in a cycle of doubt, always chasing their approval, an approval that will never come. Imagine spending weeks pouring your energy into a project, giving it your all. When it's finally done, you share your excitement with them, expecting at least a little encouragement. But instead of celebrating with you, they shrug. That's not really a big deal. Or worse, they immediately point out something you could have done better. Suddenly, what felt like an achievement now feels like a failure. This isn't accidental. It's a tactic. They see your confidence rising and they cut it down. Because a confident person is harder to manipulate. A person who knows their worth doesn't beg for validation. And that's the last thing they want, for you to realize you don't need them. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." But that's exactly why they try to control your mind. If they can make you doubt yourself, they can keep you seeking their approval, bending to their standards, constantly trying to prove your worth instead of standing firmly in it. They do it subtly, too. Sometimes they disguise their criticism as just trying to help. Other times, they shift the attention to their own achievements, making sure you feel small in comparison. It's always the same message, though. You are not enough. You must try harder. You must prove yourself more. But here's the truth. Your worth doesn't need validation. You don't need anyone to approve of your success for it to be real. You don't need recognition to make your efforts meaningful. Seneca once said, "The greatest obstacle to living is expectancy, which hangs upon tomorrow and loses today." If you keep waiting for someone to finally acknowledge your value, you waste precious time. Some people will never give you the recognition you deserve, not because you don't deserve it, but because they need you to believe you don't. So ask yourself, are they truly helping you grow, or are they keeping you small? A real friend, a real partner, a real supporter. They will celebrate your wins. They will push you to be better without making you feel worthless. But someone who only finds flaws, who only takes and never gives, That's someone who wants to own your self-worth, not encourage it.